You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again.
Hi again, everyone. My name is Nini Chong, and I am the founder of Her Rice Story. And today, I have my co-host back on Her Rice Story. Yay! Hi,
I'm back.
Ju.
Hi, Nini. How are you today?
I'm good. It's good to have you back.
It's good to be back. I missed you guys yesterday.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. So, how are you today, Zu? I hope
Way
everything
better.
went well
So
with your
yesterday,
son.
yes, yesterday we had a little incident. When you have like young kids and especially boys,
Mhm.
you can never expect you can always expect the unexpected. So that's what happened yesterday. But today we're all back to normal. Everything is good.
Okay, so that's really, really good, kan? So at
Yes.
least I know when anything happens with the children, it's like it's
Mhm.
a heart attack like that, kan?
Yes, exactly. As a mom, right? Yeah. You get.
Yeah.
I get, well, at least for me, I get panicky with whatever happens to my kids.
Zu, well, talk to us about
Mm.
what's up with
Mm.
marketing in Asia. Is there
Sure.
any special updates you want to do?
Yes. So Marketing in Asia has just launched our podcast. So it's now, the market is open for people who wants to contribute podcast now. I had the honor to do the first podcast. So I actually went on there and talk about gender roles in the workplace. So look for it and have a listen. And if there's any feedback, whatever, let me know. And for those who's interested to contribute podcast to Marketing in Asia, they can write to any one of us, the editors in Marketing in Asia, or since I'm here, maybe just can write to me, Angelica at marketinginasia.com.
Angelica at marketinginasia.com,
Yes.
people.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Angelica spelled as Anjalik.
Oh, you go by the name of Angelica in Marketing
That's
in
right.
Asia, huh?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
cool. Right.
Mm.
So this is episode number 13th of Her Rice Story virtual talk show of our special edition collaborating with Marketing in Asia.
That's
Team
right.
Mothers Rising Above Adversity. So it's
That's
so cool, right, Zu? It's like
yes.
cepatnya. It's like episode 13th already.
So cepat. 2 more episodes, and including today will be 3. Then it will be done for the Mother's
Mhm.
Day series. Yeah, it's amazing. Time
Yeah,
just flies like that, and we're
just
having
two
so
more
much fun with it.
episodes. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's right. Because when we are having
Mm.
so much fun, and the time will just fly like that.
Yes, exactly, and that's good,
And
right?
yeah, really, really
Mm.
good. And I've learned so much. And
Mm.
just for the benefit of the audience, what Her Rice Story is about is we amplify or we talk about or we have leaders, we have influencers from different industry, different walks of life who would share about the kind of challenges that they go through as a mother or as a woman. And we even have men in the show just to share about what challenges do they go through,
Mm.
because that is something that people would not often talk about. What kind of
Mm.
challenges do I go through, these
Sure.
challenges, that challenges can.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that, and also what is the mindset or what is the attitude that they apply while facing the adversity or challenges.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
because people always talk about the good things, right? Like what you said. People always talk
success
about
stories
their
selalu kan.
success stories. Exactly. Yeah. So this is good for a change.
Yeah, and
Mm.
I think that tonight, we are very lucky because we have one of you know the only business radio, like
Mm.
daily business radio station, I think BFM. I don't know. I
Right.
don't know whether I get it right or not. So we'll ask her. So we have
Mm.
Freda Liu
That's
tonight with
right.
us.
That's right. So
I
exciting,
think,
right?
yeah. So let's bring her up and let her talk about herself because she's pro at it. I hari ni like nervous like that. Will I be asking silly questions or not?
Yes,
Kan?
yes. Because she's so veteran, right? Hey.
Yeah, she's a pro.
She's a
Lucky number
Hi,
13.
Frida.
lucky number
Hi.
13.
Lucky
Hi.
number 13 has joined
Yes.
today.
Yes.
Hi,
Welcome to the
Yes.
show.
thank you for inviting me.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for saying yes to us, Frida.
So your earlier question, right? Yeah, BFM, as far as I know, I mean, like I guess we are dedicated to business, hence our name BFM. I'm sure other stations also cover, but maybe they're, they have other areas as well, and we do have other areas as well. But I guess the essence and the DNA of how we started is a business station, hence Business FM.
Right.
Definitely the only English one. That one, that one I can say.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
First of all, Frida, we would like to congratulate you, and I'll let Zoo to have the honor of
The mouthful bit. The mouthful bit to
yes.
me. Okay. So congratulations mm, for being
Where's the money?
marketing. So, congratulations, Frida, again for being Marketing in Asia's LinkedIn Top 100 Personalities in Malaysia. You should follow in 2020.
Good. Yes, please follow me.
Yeah.
Yes, please follow me. I love
Okay.
that.
I remember last year I came across the article. I was like, oh okay. I was looking through. I said, hey, I'm in it. Oh okay. And then this year I said, oh, still in it. Okay, so thank you.
Consistent,
Welcome. Yeah.
consistent, kan?
Very consistent. Yes. Yeah. So you need no introduction, Frida. You are a veteran media personality in Malaysia. I've heard about you since I moved here like 6 years ago. I'm sure you've gone on like even way back before that, right?
Oh,
So I was
great.
way before that, huh? So and I remember one time I was actually two times I was emceeing where you were speaking in that conference while I was reading your credentials. I was like, whoa, this woman. So very impressive. Can you tell us, walk us a bit about how you first started in this industry, Frida?
Okay, how I first started, it was okay. I'll give you. Yeah, I was asking how much time we've got. I first got into TV by accident when I was in Kuching, and it was a variety show. My friend wrote me in, and it was a live telecast. In the early 90s, it was a live telecast between Singapore and Malaysia, and then from there, so it was government relations, right? Because Media Corp, what was then called Singapore Broadcasting
Yeah.
Corporation, SBC, and RTM gets together every 2 years to do a variety show. And that year, it happened to be in Kuching. They had a male host that spoke in Malay, and they wanted a female host. And RTM Kuching was insistent that the female host that spoke in English was a Sarawakian. And I had just come back from university, and I was taking care of my father. He was ill, and then he passed on. And so it went on, and I got into it, not knowing where it would lead, right? Because that was never a career path I wanted. I wanted to go into public relations. That was my career. They offered me to come in. I said, no, I'm not interested. But if there was a part-time job reading the news, right? And I auditioned for it, and I got in. And from there, so I've been in broadcasting since the early 90s, but it was always a part-time thing. I was working for a PR company. I then worked for IBM in the communication side of things, always with this as a part-time job. It was only, I guess, in the last 11 years when I went into, oddly, right? You think in TV, you people will know you more, but in radio, or maybe the timing was right in the last 11 years that I joined BFM. And then I decided it was a good combination of the corporate experience, business experience, and broadcasting experience. So it was a very interesting proposition to me to join this unknown entity because it's the only independent station. It's like, hey, this company can tahan or not, can last or not. These are the concerns. But it was a very exciting thing to join. And I felt that if by joining the station, the conversations that I have, that I'm constantly learning. And that was one of the reasons I joined and I stayed.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. It was actually a risk lah, kan? It was
Yes, it was a risk because joining the station and leaving my corporate job was a 30% pay cut. So I'm used to pay cuts. But it was just something in at that point in my life. I wanted to do something different, right? And if it didn't work out, having worked in a business radio station, I can always go back to corporate, right? It will still be relevant if I wanted to, right? I guess if I joined an entertainment station and then to go back into corporate, it's like, what were you doing the last 3 years? So I felt that it would have added on to my skills. So in that sense, I not just try it out. If it doesn't work out, there's always corporate to go back to, right? I've got that experience. But of course, 30% pay cut. I've always worked for an MNC, secure job, to join this Malaysian company, never heard of, not established. But it was also very exciting because in the early days, I had a say in the creation of the shows. I had a say in how, in that little segment that I do called Enterprise, talking to businesses, talking about personal development, talking about technology. So I had a say in the direction where the show was going. So that was exciting that I was able to create something.
Wow. Okay. Sounds fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah. So that obviously went really, really well with you. And I guess your name is people would, have it. It's like together, you grow together with BFM. Kan? If people talk about BFM, Freda Liu, like that.
Okay. And it's important, right? It's nice, right? But it's also at the same time. This is a thing that I always talk about, right? And that's why one of the books I wrote is like, if you were to take that away from me, am I still Freda Liu? And that's important, right? It's nice to be associated with something that's so close to my heart, but at the same time, you also understand, and everything builds you and everything grows you. And I'm so glad to be part of this association. I'm also glad to be part of all the past organizations that I've been with, because every step has been a stepping stone. Every step has been a learning experience. And you grow from each step, right? And even working with a business radio station, right? I'm not just a radio host, I do other things as well, right? Because I just want to build on top of the skills. And I think that's important for a person to just continue building and growing, right? And expanding yourself to see what more you can do. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I totally agree with that. What are the challenges you went through at the start of your career with the station?
Well, it was. Let's talk about the state. It was unknown, right? It's an unknown entity, and you're playing with all these bigger organizations who's got deeper pockets and that sort of thing, and trying to carve out a niche in an industry that is not new, right? Radio is not a new industry, but to just to be very firm in what you believe that you're doing, right? And hoping that you'll cause a sound in the environment, and to know that it makes a difference. And so to be steadfast that you'll make a difference in what you do, because I put my life into it. I quit my fancy job to do this, right? So I think those were the challenges, right? Okay, to make it work, to believe in this product, to believe in this entity, and it's beyond a product, and that we are making a difference in the business community and in politics also, because in Malaysia, business is so closely intertwined with politics, right? To talk about these things and to know that whatever we're talking about is on people's minds, right? So we're just asking the questions that's on people's minds, and that's why I guess people resonated with us.
Wonderful.
Okay,
yeah.
so if it was very interesting just now that you said something about, if people were to take PFM away from you, then will you still be Freda Liu, right? Because obviously I do think that you have a very strong personal branding on your own, and so that would lead me to this question. Have you ever thought about, if you were to ask any of your closest friends or people that you've worked with, what will be that personal brand, or what is that branding? If people were to describe Freda, so if you're not in the room, so
okay.
what will that branding be?
It's that 5-letter word that starts with a B. No, I'm just kidding. I think people who know me would know that I have always been very authentic. Okay. Whatever's on my mind, I will say what's on my mind, right? If I got nothing to say, then, if I got nothing nice to say, then I won't say it, right? But you can read my expression, whatever I'm feeling on my face. So it's very difficult to do poker face. I'm not outspoken, but I do say what I want to say. But also with age, right? You pick your battles, lah. You pick your battles of what you want to say. Is it worth it? You don't have to win every argument, right? You don't have to. You also know, like, okay, is it worth it? If it's not worth it, just, I think that comes to age. So I guess when people who are will also say, like, she's colorful. Someone was saying that, just colorful, because I like wearing bright clothes as well. So this is my theme clothes, but colorful, and just be out there and just be comfortable, with who you are, in your skin. That's why I wrote the other book, right? In your skin, just to be comfortable. Know what your calling is. Know what is it that you're meant to do, or have fun searching as well, because even now, whatever I'm doing right now may not be something that I'll be doing in 10 years from now. And I want to continue to be productive, right? Hopefully it won't be because of money, but because I just want to continue to be productive until they put me, 6 feet under. That's how I want to work, right?
Right. Yeah. And since you mentioned your book, I'm going to get into that. You authored 5 books, right, to date?
Yes.
And yes, and all these books is about mindset, Freda, or 5 books?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got some here with me. So the first book I wrote was called PR Yourself. Okay. Got it in front here. So PR Yourself was actually about during the early days when I was interviewing a lot of companies, they were very, a lot of companies were very shy to talk about themselves, to brand themselves, to PR themselves, or they come one time and then you don't hear from them for ages. It's like, and then I would meet them at some party 2 years later, and they say, this has happened. I said, why didn't you continue telling me the story? And these are fantastic Malaysian companies that don't share their story. And that was the reason I wrote the first book, right? Like, we are so shy, we're so segan, we don't want to talk, we don't, and it's like, come on, if you don't talk about how wonderful your company is, it's a missed opportunity. So that was the reason I wrote the first book. The second book I wrote was with Chris Tan, and we wrote a book about business, right? From a male's perspective and a female's perspective. And it was called Shake and Spear Your Business. And the reason I wrote that book was, one day I wanted to go into a business, right? And I knew it didn't make any sense at all. And I just sat down with him, and everything that he asked me in a logical way, I knew the answers were what I had really thought, but I needed someone logical. And I was like, I said, going into business sometimes is like falling in love. He's an idiot, and yet you go for it, right? So that was the basis of the book. Sometimes we go, there's that fine line of facts and emotion when we go into business as well. So that was the second book. And then I did a biography of this guy called Raymond Chew. He brought in point of sales advertising to Malaysia. So I co-wrote that book with 2 of his daughters when he passed away, and they launched it during the company's 30th anniversary a couple of years ago. The fourth book I wrote was about women in business, right? In Malaysia, only 20% of businesses are owned by women. So, that figure is not right. We always talk about in the workplace, we talk about whatever, right? But wow, in business, it's 20% owned by women. And even within that 20%, when I spoke to the National Association of Women Entrepreneurs Malaysia, only 10% of their members contribute to GST at that time, right? And GST means revenues of 500,000 and above. That means not even a million, but at least 500,000 and above, only 10%. So I said, why can't more women have larger businesses, right? And so I then spoke to women that I have interviewed. I know who have multi-million-dollar business, and I didn't want to ask them those questions. I just want to ask them mindset. What was so different about your mindset? And I try to draw a lesson from each of these women, and so that was the idea, right? I don't want to talk about this happened, this happened, this. Okay, what can we do instead? How should we be thinking differently instead? That's why I wrote that book. The last book I wrote was called In Your Skin, and this was also a little bit more personal, and it's just about like determining success on your own terms, right? The challenge is also we tend to compare ourselves with people, and then that's why we feel discontented, right? We're all called to do different things. In that book, I feature people like Heidi Kwa, right, from Refuge to the Refugees. And to me, she's successful because of the work she does for refugees. I can't do what she does. I can't. I don't. The heart that she has for the refugees. Jocelyn Lee from the Pit Stop community that does work for the homeless. To me, this is success. And they are determining success on that level. So it's not the high flyer corporate CEO that is success, but they have decided what success means to them. So I want to glorify these people in different areas. I talked about women in sports. I talk about women in different areas, about these kind of people. And they have defined success because on their own terms, because they're comfortable in their skin. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Freda.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Hi. You've lost me.
I think
Just for a while, just for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add, Freda?
Oh, okay. No, that's pretty much okay. So the current book I'm writing on, it might change a little bit. We'll see, because I had someone review the book and he gave me very candid feedback about how it should go in a different direction. So I'm still processing, and I actually want to write a book about life stages of women, right? And understanding that you go through life with different life stages, and to know that it's okay at a certain life stage, some things have to take the back seat, but as you move on, you also have to prepare for the next life stage. So I know, like with my son 10 years ago, right? He was my focus, but I already had prepared that 10 years from now that I was not going to be his focus, and I better have other things to do. Right now, the last thing the 17-year-old wants to do is hang out with his mom, and it's okay because I'm very prepared for that, right? And that as much as he is my world, he's not my world. Because he's got his life and I've also got my life, and I love him and I got to give him space.
Yeah. I like that a lot. Yes.
Yeah. So I want to know this, like, so people would hear you on the radio, and there are times that people would see you in interview sessions just like this, or people would see you on the stage, talking about something about business or about women. Okay? So, but really, who is Freda Liu? Maybe you want to talk about more about you. What have you been up to on a personal level? Things that you want to share with us now. So you spoke about your son, but who really is Freda Liu?
Okay, Freda. Okay, I did this thing called, if you haven't done it, by Gallup, called the Strengths Finder, right? I'll just share it. So it has 20 of what your strengths are and what it means to you. So I'll give you, there's top 5. I'll write what I remember. One of the things that drives me is learning. And that is something, and I know that is a strength, and that if I need to be constantly learning, and that's part of my DNA, right? So that's why I'm in this job, that I'm constantly learning. But at the same time, that's one thing. The other thing that I like, one of my strengths is harmony, right? And harmony in the sense is not me, I don't want to fight, but just that understand that we all have our place and now in society, and if we understand that there is that, then there is harmony. That is a very important thing. So when there's something that doesn't give me harmony, that kind of rattles me and upsets me. And connectedness, right? Everything is sort of connected, and everything happens for a reason. So these were some of the things I found out about my values, and when I understood that, I am like, okay, I get it, right? So I know when something is not giving me that growth and that learning anymore, then I move on to the next thing. Like even this MCO, I've done so many learning. I took up a course in journal therapy, a diploma in journal therapy. I spent time writing my book, my next book. I've started this course last year called on design thinking, which has nothing to do with, but it just intrigues me what it's all about and how as we move forward, right, what's going to make the human stand apart from AI and all these sort of things, right? We've got to start thinking, strategically. And the other thing that interests me is, being a futurist, right? Do they know something that's going to happen? Because this, with COVID, right, it's just like, could anyone have foreseen this, right? Could anyone have prepared for this? And probably not, but as much as possible, if something like this happens again, right? What are the signs we should look out for? So these are things that intrigue me, right? So when you talk about what is it about all that, right? I'm very interested in about these sort of not abstract things, but the process behind all these things that's going to change the world.
Wow.
Right. So, yeah, it's there must be a reason for it, right? So I guess you like science then, because there is science and numbers, that there must be something that trigger it, or you can foresee.
I wasn't a science student. That's the thing. I'm not a science. I like to be able to, I want to see the logic behind things. I like to, if someone can draw me a picture of what it's all about, I say, oh, like this, that will probably, so I would like to read about it. So I'm doing this course right now, and then it shows me the infographic, and it's like, oh, so like this. I'll share with you one thing that I've learned at the moment, right? Because when they teach and then I share with people, I remember. And it talks about the 3-box solution, right? And how when you're in business right now, box 1 is to spend 50 to 60% of your resources in your current business because it's giving you business. Box 2 is to selectively forget all the things that's giving you success. And box 3 is to create your future and to imagine the future, right? Who are the potential non-customers? Who are the potential, what's going to change that's might completely change your business today, right? So that was so interesting because you hear the likes of Kodak, you hear the likes of Nokia, companies that have disappeared because they didn't look ahead. And when I look at it from an organizational perspective, and I look at it from a personal perspective as well, right? I'm just so excited to see the thinking behind it. He gave a very good example about box 3 thinking. You know that if you don't exercise today, it's okay. But if you don't exercise today, in 10 years, you will see the effects of not having exercise. Right? You don't feel the effect today. 10 years, you realize, I wish I exercise. So.
Yeah. So you are full of energy. You're every time I see you, you're always like full of energy. So tell us the secret behind that.
The secret behind that is exercising every day. Seriously, it is. So get some sun, get whatever, just go out there. You know what it does. It gives you the right happy chemicals, right? It just gives you the energy to go on, right? And and it makes me feel better. And whatever anger, tension, just throw it out there. And I'm a morning person. I like to start the day ideally with exercise because that just gets me going. And then at night when you sleep, it's a very nice, tired kind of sleep, right? I'm not saying I don't have sleepless nights. I do have sleepless nights. But I find that with this MCO as well, right? It's just like, I'm just so tired all the time, even with exercise, right? And I was sharing with you earlier on that I was reading this article that it is anxiety showing up in different areas. Although you say I'm not anxious, it is anxious. You are anxious, and it comes out in different ways, right? So it must be that. But regardless, you move on. You just keep moving. Take your supplements. Very important. Take your supplements. as much as possible, eat right as much as possible. It's very difficult in this country. But yeah, as much as possible. But yeah, exercise by this is something I endorse because I think like as women, this is the women thing, right? We have our bodies are different from men, right? We hormonally we're different from men, and you hear so many people falling down as they grow older because they don't have stamina, they don't have muscles, they don't have, I'm telling you all these things, right? All these things anyway, so why don't you do something about it, right? So I hate strength conditioning, but I have to do it, because I have to.
Yeah.
Right.
And these things are being told over and over again.
Yes.
And you still ask, so how do you keep the energy? How do you look so young?
Right?
But they don't want to, when they hear it, right? It's like, but I can't.
I'm tired lah. I'm what lah? It's not. There are really invest in your health. Invest in your health. That is so important, right? I mean, I'm not without vices, but as much as possible, I try to stay as fit as possible. And it's not about looking good; it's about feeling good.
Sure.
Okay, and it's not about thinness; it's about fitness, right? So and that is when it's in here, it'll come out here. Right? When you've got that energy here, it'll come out on the face. It'll come out it'll come out through your pores.
Definitely.
Okay.
So, Freda, I think many people or our audience right now who have been following you, they know that you are a single mom, and I know that also you are one of those single. I'm so sorry, my daughter is.
This is the reality.
It's like, yes. So okay. So then if I have to keep on telling for 10 times, it's no more cute. Okay. Like, yeah!
We've been there.
So you're one of the most practical single mother who is out there, who would do anything that she feels like she want to do. And one of the successful single moms that I have come across, right? So, but I know that you do face your fair amount of challenges as well.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I want to know that, because we've spoken to another lady about what kind of challenges that you go through as single mom. But like you're very urban, very modern, very practical. So I want to hear from your side.
Okay. So here's the thing, always don't be afraid to ask for help. Okay, I would not have been where I am had it not been for my mother and my mother-in-law, and I had a live-in mate before growing up. So even though I was divorced, my ex-mom-in-law continued to live with me, right? And she was there to give the stability in the household, so that when I go out and about, although my mom-in-law and a live-in mate at the time, and when he got older, we didn't need a live-in mate. We had people coming in, but and I needed her help. We have a great relationship. So I really am thankful to her and my mom as well, who came in to help me, to give stability where I know that I need to do certain things. And this is when people like, I have to do everything. I can't do everything myself. So I don't spend time grocery shopping because I had dinner catered. I don't spend time driving around my son to tuition because I will get the tuition teacher to come to the house so that I can have the time to do. So he's getting all the attention that he needs academically. I can't teach him certain things, right? But they come to the house. How can I, when he had to go to and back to in school, I had a transporter sorted out. So what is most important to me? When he came back from school, when he comes back from school and he's rested from in the car, the transporter, I'm not going through traffic picking him up. We see each other. We're happy to say, hi, Jude. Hi, Mom. We're both relaxed, right? And what is the most important thing, right? What's the most important thing? That's the most important thing. Not whether I cook for you, not whether I do that. You know that I'm providing. You know that I love you. You know that I love. And I say that you will look back in life and say that my mother hugged me too much. Right? These are the things that matter, right? So don't be afraid to ask for help, and really if you can afford it, right? Really get the help that you need, right? I wanted to focus on what were my core strengths, right? And what I were not my core strengths, I outsourced. So what that picture of that mother that comes back, rushes and cook, I'm not that picture. I don't want to be that picture, right? But where he needs me, he knows, hey, he can always call his mother. That's the most important thing.
As a single mom, when Jude, that's his name, yeah, your son's name is Jude.
Yes.
So when growing up, what's the challenges you face as a single mom? Does he have a father figure in his life at that point while growing up?
He does. He still has a father figure in the house. So one of the things also is, of course, be as civil as possible. And if he wants his dad or needs to meet his dad, it's the doors. He still has keys to this house. So it's just like, so it's as much as possible. This child did not ask to be born. So as much as possible, make it as civil and as stable for him as possible. It's not ideal, right? I still cry that I'm not able to give him that picture of a family, which I had, right? But as much as possible, then you look at who then is your extended family, who then can you solicit help from, right? And so he still has the father figure, right? And as much as he wants to participate, the doors are open, right? And that was important for him. My relationship is different. He is still your father, and we are still parents to this child, right? So I think that's important because this is unneeded energy, right? Wasted energy, fighting or whatever. It's just wasted
exactly. Yeah. Totally.
Right. And you sound you always sound practical, kan? So every time I have a conversation with you, you always sound practical. So if I were to give you that branding, then it's like, Freda is very practical. She's a very practical person, kan? But as you go, okay, maybe I'll ask a different question.
As I grow older.
I want to know, right? Of course, as you are going through your marriage and then you go through these challenges and you made the decision to go through a divorce, and the challenges that comes with it, because it's just consequences, right? And we choose our decision and we choose the consequences. What would be the main challenge that you have gone through that you think have contributed significantly to the kind of woman that you are right now? What would that be?
Okay. It was very, very painful for me, right? And I knew, so the mantras and things that I say, and one of the things that actually drove me to be a little bit more, I guess, focused about the wheel of, I live my life with this thing called the wheel of life, right? Where you look at your finance, you look at your friendships, you look at your fitness, you look at, your faith and all these things, right? I would say that my faith is my anchor, right? That's so important to me. So that was one thing. And I don't want to come out of this as a bitter person, because I know my natural tendency is to be, that is a natural tendency for my personality. So I am conscious to be better, not bitter. And when I say better, I didn't know what better meant. I remember just praying to God, I want to come out of this better, but I don't know what it means. And I looked at what I could control. I couldn't control the situation, that relationship, right, at that moment, at that point, but I could control other things. I could control my fitness. I could control the friends that I have, right? These are the things that I can control. And then slowly the confidence came back, let me be better in my job, let me be better in other things, right? So these are things that I can control. And then when you find that you're doing these other things, then you gain the confidence again to do the other things, right? So small wins. I was just sharing how the simplest, like I run one full marathon, before you have one cukup sekali, enough. But what was more memorable for me was the first 10 kilometer I did, right? The fact that I could run two digits, right? And there was just, I remember it was a very low, 10 years ago. And to be able to complete that just gave a euphoria, gave me a sense of control, sense of confidence. And that was that little bit of better that I could become. And then, of course, then for like, okay, can I do a half? Can I do a full, right? You get gatal, you try doing all things, but in all areas of my life, right? Can I do this? Can I do a little bit more? Can I do? So this journey has been the last 10 years, right? Nothing happens overnight as well, but you build that confidence over the years, right? And just look at little areas where you can do a little bit more, until it becomes second nature to like, chuba lah, it doesn't work. Like, for me, it's that attitude, right? I try something, doesn't work, okay lah, I'm glad I tried it, right? I was sharing the other time when I was 18 years old, how everything actually adds to experience depending on how you look at it. When I was 18 years old, I was working as a receptionist at Kuching Hilton, my first job, and as a part-time job, I was a choral singer with the Sarawak State Choir. And when I look back at that time, I knew I was gonna, I didn't become a singer, but that whole experience of learning breath work from singing, right? How that has helped me now, or how to enunciate and pronounce your words, that was from singing. Standing up on stage, although with a lot of people, that first time on stage was at 18 years old, and that was the experience. So everything just a little bit more, right? And that's how you expand your horizons, right? When you look at Malaysia, it's an exciting place. Like, why can't I be further? Why can't I create a bigger platform around the world? Why not? Why not, right? And it's also then I guess that's better lah.
Wow. Okay. So little wins. That's what you
are. Little wins.
That is one thing that little wins, right? And it builds confidence lah. Then I can move further. I can move further like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Very, very good. Yeah, I like that a lot as well. Yeah, I think I learned a lot. I can hear. Yeah, can you hear me?
Can loud and clear.
Very clear. Okay, I really learned a lot from you today. Like seriously, I'm like sitting here like taking it all in. I'm like really loving this. So you said earlier that you are a morning person, yeah? And I am a sucker. Can I say the word sucker? Can, right?
Can.
So I'm a sucker for good morning routines. I'm sure we all can learn something from you. What's your morning like?
My morning, my morning, I should spend more time praying, but I don't. But I usually try to get up at 6:30, and on normal situations, pre-MCO, pre-MCO, I would get up at 6:30, and I would do my exercise at 7:00. It's either boot camp, and in between, I would go to the gym, which is at the office, and I would just work out every day. And then Monday, and then get ready for work. So that's the get the energy going, get the face a bit flush, right? And weekends is I'll still wake up early. I'll still go my hiking. I'll go running. Exercise a bit longer, leisurely with friends, and have breakfast. So that's my morning boost lah. That's what I need to just get the engine running. And you find that the older, actually, I'm so glad I started 10 years ago exercising seriously, because I know that. You're going to get aches and pains and all that. If you don't work on those things, it will creep up on you. So I can say I've got more energy now than I've got 10 years ago.
Nice. That's good news, isn't it? Yeah. 10 years older and more energy. Why not, huh?
Jennifer Lopez, she's my inspiration.
Right, of course. And how too? Oh, God.
I want those abs.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm working on it.
Where do you see yourself, Freda? Having to do the things that you love doing, because I see that from you, especially through the conversation that we have tonight. I see that you get to speak what you feel like, that comes across your mind. You look very happy. You feel, I don't know, I just see you as this positive person, right? But I just want to know this. Where do you see yourself, say, 5 years from now?
I could ask this same question today. Vision. I have this vision of doing something that is more visual, right? And gone are the days, I say, when something is visual, that it needs to be, I need to have a TV station or opera, that kind of thing, right? Gone are the days, right? We've all got all these platforms. But I see more things visually. I see myself speaking globally, right? I see that. So that is something that I would enjoy doing. I don't know what I'll be talking about. Maybe the topic will change, but there are also like other things that interest me. So I don't know where to go. But that is that vision that I have, right? Something visual. Yeah, and if it's continuing to talk to people, I would love it. I think that is going to be and a conversation with a friend today said, and I thought it was really sweet. I said, I really love learning and talking to people. And she says, you have the ability to bring out the best in people. I'm like, wow. I said, I'll take that. If that is a skill and that is something he sees in me, then I said, I would like to take that. If I'm able to have a conversation and continue this sort of journey where I can talk to someone and I can bring out the best in someone. I know that I did this thing before where my thing is, am I impacting lives, right? In whatever I do, is what I'm sharing, even this conversation, right? It could be one person that's just joined us, right? But if I have this conversation and it has impacted one person's life, then I have made a difference, right? When I go on radio, people always like very conscious of how they sound and everything. I said, look, it's I've gone past the stage of how I sound and how I look, right? My objective is, if through that conversation and talking to someone and someone hears it and says, I learned something from that conversation, then I have done my job impacting lives, right? It doesn't have to be the world, but just that one person, right? And that is important to me. The second thing that actually interests me and why I'm still with BFM is that I truly, truly believe that business is going to be what's going to change this nation. Good, thriving business is going to change this nation, provided politics don't get involved. But seriously, right? It is when businesses are successful and growing, that is when that will actually help uplift the nation, right? And we've got to increase that picture with more women coming into business, equaling that, right? And with these women who have these high impact businesses, they employ people, they can change the world. Look at the countries that are being run by women, prime ministers and presidents, and how they're handling the whole situation, right? So this is what I see. If I'm not personally involved, that I can be the conduit of people hearing it. Yeah.
Cool.
Great stuff.
That is
Freda.
where you're heading to, business, right?
Yeah.
And you speak a lot about business, even in this conversation itself, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that is, I can hear that is something that you're passionate about. Over to you, Zu.
So, what's next for you? I mean, you've done it all. You are an entrepreneur as well, and you are, in a way, and you are
Yeah.
speaker. You are a media personality. So, what's next for you?
That's why lah. I think to continue doing this, but it's why lah. Okay, right now, sometimes I do things because it interests me, right? I don't know where it leads. Like I said, I actually miss my online class at the moment as like the design thinking. I don't know where that leads me. It's just so exciting to learn about this whole idea of design thinking. Maybe there's something that I want to go to. I don't know, right? I also have gone into, I'm very interested in studying to be a futurist, or just to understand how a futurist thinks, right? That's also very appealing to me. What it will go to, because like 10 years ago I did certain things. I don't know whether it will lead to it. I did coaching more than 11 years ago, and that was something that was interesting. I did NLP, right? And it all adds up, right? And it sort of links and interconnects. So I want to just do something different and just continue learning lah. So I also have to pace myself. Like, you can't learn so much in 1 year. Like, I also need budget, right? So I love that. So cute. Okay, I love dogs. Okay, I love dogs. It's a cat. Okay, I know. But anyway, yeah. So these are things that just intrigue me. I don't know where it leads. Sometimes there's also the mystery in life, right? There's also mystery in life, and you can plan so much and things can still go awry. Like I had planned for my holidays in May. That didn't happen, right? And then you can choose to be angry about it and just say, okay, God, whatever you got planned for me, I'll take it. And so you also have to okay, there's a reason. There's a reason some things happen. There's a reason some things don't happen, right?
Sure.
And you also have to
So I know that I think the LinkedIn circle that you started was the first LinkedIn circle in Malaysia. Is that right?
Probably one of the first few lah. First few.
First few,
I
yeah.
wouldn't say the first one. There were a couple there already. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your take in that? What's your take in that realm of woman empowerment, Freda? So because there is the world is going crazy with woman empowerment, kan? So
Right.
there are just these hardcore feminists which I myself don't agree with, right? But I want to know what's your take on
Okay.
woman empowerment, just the topic.
Okay, so I don't know your definition of hardcore feminist, right? When I say I'm a feminist, right, I will say it's about equality. It's not about, in an organization when there's too many women, it's also no good, right? It's too many. It's like, and of course we talk about diversity and inclusion. I said and I know like we've got all the different factors to consider, whether it's race and all these other things, right? But can we just get the basic gender equal first, right? And we're still not there yet, right? So this is the thing, right? It just makes when I wrote one of my books, and I spoke to Christy Ng, right, from Christy Ng's Shoes. So by default, because she's in the business with shoes, right? So a lot of women applied, and then she said she started hiring some men, and she said the moment she hired men, they look at things so differently. She said, "Wow, I would not have seen that because I'm always just surrounded by women. The moment men came in, they were a lot more riskier." And she said, I needed that, right? So, so I'm not saying one is better than the other. It's just that it's so lopsided at the moment, right? So the fact that I'm sometimes tired, we're still having this conversation because we're still lopsided. And that's the thing, and that we still haven't talked about it. And how we need to do it is actually get men involved in the conversation, right? The he for she, that the men, and there are men that are already sitting in and doing something about it, but we need more men in these conversations and not just women talking among themselves. One of the things that I will be involved in is something that Antam from Ace Adventure will be bringing into Malaysia. She started this new chapter in Malaysia called Women of Global Change. It's been around in the US for about 10 years and various other countries as well. So she's starting a Malaysian chapter. So I'll be working with her. And I said to her, maybe, there are so many things she would like to do. I said, why don't we just start with having that conversation about women starting businesses, SMEs, right? Which is something that is so close to her heart because she's an SME too. So I said, why don't we do something around that? We're still in the early stages of talking. Let's just balance it, right? We're just so far from that equality at this point, right? And until we can say we are 50-50, then we can stop. Then it's fine. But we're still not. And again, like I say, there's so many things that gender is just one of it, right? And if we can get that right, at least then it makes sense to start talking about things. Because what's the beauty of Malaysia? The fact that we're so diverse is the beauty that makes us so unique. If we don't appreciate that fact, that we are able to communicate around the world, because growing up, and then you are Sabahan, I'm Sarawakian again, right? The fact that we have so many races around us, and the fact that it's so part of our DNA that we know how to talk with different racial groups and not think about it. And that is such a USP that most countries don't have. And I really don't like the fact that we can lose it, right? Because people throw in words like race and religion negatively, right? Because we don't, because it's such an amazing thing. It's such a USP for this country that people don't realize, that we can work anywhere because we know how to accommodate and change, right? Anyway, I digress. Nak masuk politics, right? Let's stop.
So we have a question from the audience.
Yes. Poor Aaron. He asked at the beginning already.
Yeah. So he was asking, Freda, what was the push that allowed you to take the leap from corporate job to BFM?
Okay. The push was actually, I wanted a change, right? I wanted a change. It was just like, it was so intriguing, right? It was there was this burning desire to join this unknown entity. It was against all the common sense things. But at that point in my life also, like, the house is pretty stable, like, things can be paid for, you don't need that much, like, okay, now it's my turn to try something different. I've always done the proper thing. Not that BFM is not proper, right? But it's just like, it's time for me to take a bit of risk, right? And to do it. And I tell you, I want to say something about, I used to work in IBM, and IBM is such a great company. They actually gave me 2 years leave of absence while I joined BFM. Right, so if it didn't work out, I could have still gone back to IBM. And in the 2 years that I was, there's such a, so the first 2 years I was at BFM, they were still paying for my medical and dental. So I'm very thankful for this organization. And of course, when we decided, and 6 months before the 2 years sabbatical was, hey, you want to come back? This role, and then after that I said, no, I don't want to come back. But it was a very lovely ending to that relationship, and we still continue. There are still people there that I'm very close to, and I'm very proud to have been part of that organization. I talk to them sometimes and say, hey, my blood is still blue. That's the big blue, right? So don't burn bridges, right? Don't burn bridges. Every place has it was a great time for me when I was there. 11 years. I spent 11 years with the company.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
No, that is very generous of them. I haven't heard of any
like, I don't want to let you go like that.
So that was the answer, Aaron. It was me. If you know the Bible, it's like testing God. God, today this is the story in the Bible about Gideon. The fleece must be wet on outside. He was giving all these things, right? And God said, okay, I opened the door for you. Now can you just do it? I know. And the fact that, where I live in Bandar Utama, right? And IBM is one traffic light away, right? And if BFM was further from my house, I wouldn't take it. And BFM at the time was at Bandar Utama, 2 traffic lights away, right? And even now that
you ate there, right?
So it's like it was something that was literally at my doorstep. Yeah, so I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. Actually, that was the first thing I said during the interview. Before Tok Gaji, when I got a call from NAWEM to meet with Malik Ali, and I said, there's a radio station. Where are you located? Bandar Utama. So that was the first thing I asked. Not what job, not how much. Where are you located? You know what? I don't want to be caught in traffic. I hate traffic. So because it was close enough, okay, we can talk.
Because you're a woman of practicality, ma, kan? So that's why, right?
Seriously, 20 years ago, I put my first job in the PR company. I didn't want to work. I just said, I wrote down, I want to work for an international PR company that is not in KL City, right? So I got a job in Edelman, which was in Damansara Heights, which is not in the city, right? Although it's Kuala Lumpur, it's not in the city because I didn't want to go through traffic. That was one thing I wanted. I just cannot, because I can imagine doing this every year for 20 years. Trust me, I won't look that young. I won't look this young. It adds up. If you get to work angry, you won't have time to work out. You get to work stressed already. So at what cost? At what cost, right? Obviously, if I had worked this, I would have earned more money, but that money would probably be paid for my medical bills, right? So at what cost? So I've been very practical in that sense, like at what cost, right?
So is there a power of manifestation that works, that get intertwined somehow, do you think?
Yes, I believe in that, right? I believe in manifestation, and I believe like God knows the desires of your heart. Sometimes, I actually, like I said, joining BFM, right? It wasn't. I didn't even want to go into broadcast, right? But the signs from 20, I didn't want to go into that, but yet you opened the door for me in all these areas. So I've never left. I've always had that experience. I've never left the industry. I've always had 2 jobs. That's my thing. I've always had 2 things, right? How God has opened the door. So if I want to bring the divine into it, how certain things have happened in my life that sometimes I didn't even know that I wanted, right? But He knows that I would enjoy it, or it's something that He has planned for me to do. So sometimes it's right. Some things like, yes, I like it, and sometimes it doesn't work out. And I can also accept that it doesn't work out. That means it's not meant for me. It may not be meant for me now. It could be something for me later, or it could be not something meant for me. So I also have a little bit, Chicha also says so. It could be just, so you've got to have a little bit of, like, of course, have a bit of a drive, have a bit of a dream, have a bit of a goal, have a bit of a push, but also be relaxed enough to know that, okay lah, if it doesn't work out, it's okay. So to have that balance as well. It's not the end of the world.
Yep. True.
Cool. So, like any exciting and interesting conversation, the time will just fly like that.
Oh
so,
my God, yeah.
Really, we are over time already.
Yeah.
So we are over time already. Just, Freda, what would you wanna say to our audience, especially to the women out there? Because it is difficult right now. For many people, it is difficult right now, especially women in SME. Okay?
Yeah.
So,
right.
What will be your tips? Sharing.
Not tips. Like, I guess, like, sometimes you might have to search out a coach, if you can afford it, right? Now is the time to be, if you need to pivot. I've heard people that they need to pivot and change their business strategy. If it's time to reflect, to do all these things, right? And even if sometimes, I understand, sometimes if you don't think it is right for you, it's also okay to say no, right? And I know it sounds so demotivating, but sometimes you also know, right, cut your losses and do some things, right? I mean, we've heard of some companies that have closed down as well. At what price, right? But if you are an entrepreneur at heart, it's about pivoting, it's temporary, it's about all these things. It's about managing costs right now. It's not, forget about, I think, like, really, if you're profitable, if you're in the sanitization business, you're profitable. If you're making surgical masks, you're profitable, so these are things. Like, if you're not there, I mean, of course, you're always thinking about growth and all that. Maybe right now it's about business continuity, it's about managing costs at this point, right? And as much as possible, so it's tough, right? But this is business. When you've chosen to go into business, this is business, right? It is. Nobody knew that it'd be this bad, but unfortunately, and I guess the positive thing is we're all in it together. The other thing I think is a good tip to look at, collaborations. Who can you collaborate with, right? That could be probably not a non-competitive business, but have the same audience. I think there is strength in collaboration. So now that collaboration is a new competition. Think of who you can collaborate with, so you all can pull your resources together. I think that's also a suggestion and a tip.
Good one.
All right. So, wow. So, would you want to ask Freda anything before we say bye-bye to her?
Freda, I have such a fantastic time tonight hearing whatever you have to say. A lot of learning situations that are going on. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for coming over and giving us all these comments.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been such fun, we had extra time, the 30 minutes before this, just yakking about life. So thank you for including me in this zoo and Nini. Thank you so much.
A definite pleasure.
So thank you so much. And we'll see you soon. So take care and be safe, Freda.
Yes,
take care, Freda.
bye.
Thank you.
And
Bye.
I will log off now.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Me.
Okay. That's funny.
She is so cute.
Yes. Oh, the
So
energy. Yes.
they were so awesome, right? So, yeah. So, I think every conversation that I have with Freda, it's always, very high energy like that. So it's a conversation with her has always been so empowering, kan? It's like macam after you have a conversation with her, macam you rasa macam you can do anything and everything like that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so true. Like you want to go back down to your desk and start doing work, right? Because after talking to no, I totally agree with you. Yeah, it's just awesome, it's amazing. And to think that, remember before this show, we were saying that, oh, the show is just going to be like 45 minutes. We've run over time. So this is great. It's a good sign, isn't it? That means we're having so much fun talking.
Yeah. So that was really awesome. If we were to have like 2 hours, I think we'll still not stop talking and asking her so many questions.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were saying, Zu?
Yeah, I say it's so lovely, so empowering, so uplifting. It's just nice to have women like this on our show. We have all the ladies has been awesome actually, all in their own different ways. Yeah.
Yeah. So tonight we have Freda, who is an iconic figure in the business radio.
Yeah, so it's amazing. You know what? Earlier I said that I heard about her when I moved here. Actually, I was lying. No, I wasn't lying. But I just remembered now. I've heard about her even before. Before that, the name Freda Liu is pretty synonymous with a lot of things that I've heard of her before. Yeah, even when I was in Norway on social media and all that, I've heard of her. So she's come a long way, and she's amazing.
So really, so tomorrow we will be doing the second final episode, which will be episode number 14. And
That's
tomorrow we will be having Nurul Izzati.
Nurul Izzati, that's right.
Yeah. So we will be having. Have you spoken to her before, Zu?
No, I have not. Actually, I was just going to say this because I know that she's going to come on tomorrow. So I was a bit like investigating, spying on her a little bit. Then I realized, alamak, we're not connected pula. Stalking. So alamak, tak connected on LinkedIn apa ni? So I actually connected with her and she accepted. So I'm just going to write her a little bit later. Yeah, I'm looking forward because she was the chairman for BHN Group, Sdn Bhd. So another high-flying woman on our show.
Right? And we have been having fun meeting all these women.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'm feeling like an empty nest feeling now because only 2 more episodes to go. So lepas ni alamak.
Alamak kan. So I guess it's that time again where we need to regroup and talk about, what will be our next move, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Just watch this space, right? To all the audience, to all the people that's watching, just watch this space.
So, Zu, so just now you spoke a little bit about what marketing in Asia have been up to. Anything else that you would like to add on just to update our audience?
Not at this point. The podcast is the main thing at this point, which we are starting. There are a couple of things in the pipeline, but I'm not able to tell yet until it's official. That we are going to make an announcement. But for now, it's just a podcast, and of course, every day there's new entries, there's new articles, and just have a read. Actually, I've just written an article about personal image and self-worth. So I have received a lot of not a lot, but some backlashes. So maybe people can just go in and read and tell me what you think of the article. Because normally the word self-worth and personal branding doesn't come together, right? And people always feel like, why should I bother what people think about me and stuff like that, So just have a read and tell me what you think about it. And of course, there's other articles there as well.
And that is a very interesting topic, right? Personal branding and self-worth.
Self-worth.
Is that the topic? Yeah, because
that's a topic,
I guess not only women, men also often would forget that value, right? That self-worth value that we need to have as an individual, I guess.
Exactly.
And for us to move further in life, that is something very important for us to be aware of.
It is, exactly. It is totally, Always think that, you looking good, you wanting to look good is all about others. No, it's all about yourself. If you respect and care about yourself enough, then you want to be able to look good for yourself. I mean, when I'm staying home for MCO, sometimes I take like selfies and all that, and I've got people saying, "Oh, you stay at home also must wear pretty things, is it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I need to look good for myself because when I look good, I feel good, and it's vice versa. So, and why not, right? So, yeah, people always misunderstand the point of that.
Yeah. So yeah, I do agree. I totally agree. And just a little reminder, right? A kind reminder to our audience as well. So I have been doing some coaching, right? With individuals or business owners who actually would like to just understand what is the term social impact initiative as a marketing tool for your company. So it has been really, really good. I guess the term itself is really new here in Malaysia. And yes, if you would like to know more and you would like to know how can you activate cost effective way of you doing good for the community that doubles up as a marketing strategy, the link is at the comment area. And also again, our bit of I don't know really. I don't make the decision when is the 86% discount will end. I don't know that. But the link is still there, so please click on it if you think that in any way that you need help, you need second opinion or strategies as an option, probably, right? So just speak to us. And yeah, also check out Marketing in Asia. And they have a new exciting thing, which is the podcast.
Podcast, yeah, and
So
we're
I'm one
looking
of
for.
those who listen to podcasts all the time.
Oh, me too. That's the first thing I do when I wake up, actually. Listen to
Right.
invigorating podcasts. Yeah. So we're looking for contributors for podcasts as well. So if you think you have what it takes, just write to any one of us in Marketing in Asia, and we'd love to hear from you. Yeah.
Nice. All right. So I guess it's bye bye from us tonight, Zoom.
Yes.
And I will meet you again tomorrow here.
Yes. I'll see you tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to see Nurul Izzati
Nurul
tomorrow.
Izzati. Yeah,
Yes.
Nurul Izzati. So tune in
Yes.
again, people, tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. And bye bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye. See you tomorrow.